Hello, everyone.
What's going on, everybody?
Welcome back to another episode of the AdultDeck podcast, the place where you come learn how to stack your cards against the game of life. Sometimes, because today we are not talking about something that's card stackable, I guess.
I mean, entertainment.
Entertainment. Okay. So today, well, before we get into that, I want to thank everyone for all of your amazing support throughout the Marriage Pack series.
I came in heavy, guys.
Right? The first video that we posted had over 500 views and like...
Dope. Still processing, as
still
you can
processing. But I just want to extend a huge thank you to all of the guests who came on.
Y'all were great.
All of them who were vulnerable to share their stories, to talk to us, to let us, like I said, in a couple episodes, get up in your business. I truly, honestly felt great about the Marriage Pack because I think, like I've said previously, you know, although that is not how I wanted the season to open up, it is essentially what needed to happen for the season to open up. For all of us to, you know, get comfortable talking to each other, sharing people's stories, and it really solidified the direction that the Adult Deck podcast is going.
Right.
So thank you to everyone who watched. Thank you to everyone who participated. Thank you to all of the comments, all of the likes, all of the shares, all of the everything.
It was greatly needed, and we love it.
Yes.
It makes us know that you guys are interested in what we're putting out.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So the Marriage Pack is closed. We hope that you all have gotten something wonderful out of it. Please leave a comment under this video letting us know what you enjoyed about the Marriage Pack, what other types of things you would like to see, and all that good stuff. So this week we're going to take a break from all the stories and just like relax a little bit.
Yeah, take a little guess.
Breather.
Yeah, there you go. Lean back a little bit.
Yes.
Pick your feet up.
And as much as I love being married and love my husband and love talking about those things, I also love everything involving nerd culture, comics,
yes,
anime, like everything. Yes. So today we are going to talk about WandaVision, a new series on Disney Plus that kind of happens after the events of Avengers Endgame. Overall show, WandaVision takes place 3 weeks after all of the stuff that has happened in the movie Endgame.
Yes.
So, Endgame, crazy stuff happens. They defeat Thanos. 3 weeks later, we get WandaVision.
Dead. Then 3 weeks later, we get WandaVision. Yes. I just want y'all to remember, Vision is supposed to be dead.
As if we all don't remember Thanos plucking the little stone out of his forehead, like they about to do with Lil Uzi Vert.
Man, look. Little Uzi Vision? Yeah.
Lil Uzi Vision. So, the TV show is very directly related to the movies and everything that's happened there.
Greater MCU whole, if you will.
The entire MCU as a whole, which is like weird because MCU stands for Marvel Cinematic Universe. So like,
and these TV
shows,
yes, because they have a cinematic budget.
That is very true. Yo, looking at WandaVision, just everything is like so phenomenally done.
Go ahead.
Oh, and just like the way it's shot, you can tell that it's not like shot like a TV show. It's shot like a movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say, comparing it to like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or any of the Netflix shows, it's definitely like few levels up.
Top tier.
Yeah.
So today we're just gonna review, you know, what has been happened. Spoiler alert for the first 5 episodes of WandaVision. If you have not watched it, or if you've not watched all 5 episodes, please skip this conversation because I don't want to ruin anything for you. Experience it on your own firsthand. Or unless you like spoilers and then want to go back and watch it after you know the spoilers.
That's how I am. My spoilers ain't going to stop me from watching nothing. I got to experience it for myself. So WandaVision, episode 1 starts off with
Wanda and Vision essentially living in this black and white sitcom, and going through the hijinks of traditional 50s roles. Like,
I Love Lucy, all of that good stuff. That's the only one I could think of.
I was going to say, it was Bewitched 50s?
Never watched it.
Really? Yeah. Well, I mean, I can't say really. I never watched it either.
I did watch I Love Lucy because sitting on that couch until 2 a.m. and then waking up to just some loud woman
hollering.
Boom, pow, straight to the moon.
Funny. So it follows them in the 50s in this sitcom, and it's very campy. Like Peter says, I Love Lucy, but with Wanda and Vision.
Oh, and we're in the 50s.
Yeah. So we're in the 50s. Wanda is playing good housewife, trying to keep everything clean, keep everything tidy. However, Wanda and Vision both have they're aware of their powers.
For those that have kept up in the MCU and the movies, we all know that Vision is supposed to be dead. Mm-hmm. But in WandaVision,
he's alive and well.
He's alive and walking around and kicking.
So that was the first thing where I was just like, what does this mean, really? Like, is he really dead? Is he not? So while they know who they are, essentially, and that they have powers, they don't quite remember things about being put into the sitcom. Mm-hmm. So a big plot point for the first episode is that they both have a calendar in the kitchen and they see that there's a heart on today's date. And they're like, what is that? Wanda is like, is it a birthday? What is it? How do we get here? So they started thinking about their anniversary. How do we get married? We are married, right?
When did we get married? When is our anniversary?
Stuff like that. So they essentially thought that the heart meant that today was their anniversary, since neither of them have memories of getting married or having an anniversary.
Or how they got here.
We're
just running with it.
Just going. However, it really means that Vision's boss is coming over for dinner that night.
Yeah, so Vision goes to work, hijinks ensue at work. He's trying to figure out what the heart mean, and then enters his boss, Mr. Hart.
Yes. And Mr. Hart and his wife, Mrs. Hart, come over for dinner. Wanda doesn't know what to do, doesn't know essentially how to cook this extravagant meal. So she calls over their neighbor. What was her name?
Agnes.
I was going to say
yeah.
Agnes. So they call over the neighbor Agnes, and Agnes just shows up at the door with everything Wanda needs: pots, pans, groceries,
whole chicken,
everything. So Wanda's in the kitchen, trying to use her powers to put together this dinner.
They are hiding their powers, though.
Yes.
So nobody knows they have powers. Mm-hmm. Even Vision is walking around, I guess, with a human look. He's not Vision, so.
Pause. Somebody said I think it was on Twitter, was like, it's really weird to me how whenever a character has to put up a human, image or whatever, they're always white. And I was like...
Until they're not.
Huh. That is interesting. But back to WandaVision. So Vision's, putting up a disguise, making him appear to be human. Wanda is trying to be in the kitchen, hide her powers. And we see that Wanda doesn't quite have full control over her powers, because she goes to put a chicken in the oven, cook it turns out burnt, and then she's like, we should undo this, and then accidentally turns it into
eggs.
So he went from burnt chicken to eggs, which I'm sure is an overcorrection.
I don't think she doesn't have control over her powers. I think it's just the 50 sitcom hijinks that's like, let me turn back time to when the chicken wasn't cooked, and she just went a little too far,
Okay, so you think it was in line with the sitcom.
The aesthetics.
Gotcha. Okay, that's interesting.
So
I didn't
she's
think about
still
it
playing
that way.
her part. You'll understand why in a few episodes.
Yes. So at the end of this episode, they're all eating dinner. Wanda ends up making breakfast for dinner, essentially. And Vision's boss is choking on something. And like he's like choking, like blue in the face, about to pass out. And his wife's just like, "Oh, stop it. Like you're being so funny. Just stop it. Stop it." And like just Wanda and Vision literally, it was like a minute of her just being like, "No, just stop it. You're joking." And Wanda and Vision are just staring at each other like, "Bro,
Sharon looks, he's about to die. What you doing?"
Yeah. So eventually, Wanda's like, "Vision, help him." And then that's when Vision is kind of like, "Oh, okay, let me go off, use my powers, pull this thing out."
That's the question. You know, we're taking a tangent real quick. If Vision can get intangible and put his hand inside somebody's body, wouldn't at some point he has to turn solid to grab whatever he's going in there for? And if he does, wouldn't that like damage whoever he's inside?
I think there's like layers of intangibility. So it's like completely intangible.
Way too much cinema sense. So I see all issues now.
You right? So Vision ends up saving his boss, and then everything is just kind of like, "Oh, well, that was fun. Bye."
Next episode.
End of the episode. Next episode 2. I think episode 2 is when things start to get a little like we start to see that there's something else going on here.
They got that magic show happening.
Yes. So the overarching event for episode 2 is that they are putting on a talent show for the kids. For the kids. I'm trying not to get ahead of myself. But they're putting on a talent show for the kids. Vision goes to meet with a whole bunch of males. And it's so funny to, like, again, think of the, like, 50s. Yeah. Like, aesthetic. Because, like, Vision goes off to meet with a whole bunch of guys who are, like, a neighborhood watch crew. While Wanda's meeting with all the women who are the...
event planners.
Event planning committee. And it's just like...
play your role, guys.
So, while Wanda is meeting with them planning the talent show, you know, she's talking with the head of the committee who's, like, grade A Barbie. Like, just... she's giving me very Karen vibes. And, you know, the lady's like, I don't really like this. Like, I don't really like you. What's going on here? But while she's then sitting there talking to the lady, a voice comes on the radio. And it's like, "Wanda, can you hear me? Like, check in, yada, yada, yada." Coming from reality.
We don't know at this point where it's coming from. Wanda is just hearing a voice, asking where she is, if she understands what's going on. And she ignores it. Well, something happens and time rewinds.
Yes, to before the broadcast happened.
Yes. So people that are in production knows that if you don't want something in the show, you just cut and replay. So it's like something just got cut. And we're starting again from the scene.
Starting from the top. So, you know, while that happens, Vision is off with the neighborhood watch. And he's, like, talking, holla, holla, holla. And he swallows a piece of gum that, like, literally gums up his insides. So while his gears are all stuck up, it gives off the appearance that he's drunk. So they're trying to do this magic routine for their Wanda and Vision. I'm gonna slow down. Wanda and Vision are doing a talent routine. A magic routine. That's what I was trying to get out. Wanda and Vision are doing a magic routine for the talent show, and Vision appears to be supremely drunk.
This was supposed to be sleight of hand magic, and because Vision is drunk and impaired, he is actually using his powers while hijinks ensue. Wanda is trying to play them off as, you know,
just
tricks,
like
or sleight of hand
tricks.
Vision starts floating. Wanda's off in the corner, and she's like, "All right, let's put a rope pulley." Oh, that's how he's flying. See?
So it's really weird that, like, I thought it was funny that Vision is essentially revealing all of their magic, all of their abilities, while Wanda is using those abilities to hide the fact that Vision is revealing those abilities. So towards the end of episode 2, this, again, more Easter eggs. they hear this loud. They're back home, you know, reminiscing over the day, and they hear this loud thumping, crash thumping outside. So they go out to check it out.
Wanda goes out first, and she finds everything is currently in black and white. I hope we said that.
Yes.
So everything is currently in black and white. So when Wanda comes out, she sees a red helicopter in her bushes. The only thing in the entire city
that's in color.
Which makes us start to realize, this isn't actually in the 50s.
Nah.
Or a TV show. Well, it's a TV show. But you understand what I'm saying. Then Vision comes out. And this, like, the nerd in me was like, oh shit. So Vision comes out, and then they see this man come up from under a manhole cover in front of their house, dressed in a full beekeeper suit, bees buzzing around him. Now, at this point, I'm like, yo, I've been watching Peter play the Avengers video game, and the main corporation, the main enemy in that game is AIM, A-I-M. And one of their, like, Advanced mechanics.
Yes. And one of their, I guess, trademark symbols, people, is the beekeeper. The beekeeper is essentially a scientist that works for AIM. And whenever you see beekeepers around Marvel, it's usually hinting at AIM being involved.
Their, I guess, on the ground group is called Hive. So, you know, you have your hexagonal shape. Hexagonal? Or
hexagonal.
Octagonal. 6 sides. Hexagonal. So, yeah. So these are these Easter eggs all around the place in these first 2 episodes. You can pick them out. One of those big Easter eggs is the hexagonal shape plus beekeeper coming out of the manhole.
Yes. So that for sure. I was like, AIM's doing something with Wanda. Like,
But when that happens, once again, just like earlier, it cuts and things start over.
Yes.
Like it never happened.
So then they go back into Wanda and Vision go back into the house, and like I said, pretend like none of that had ever happened, and Wanda essentially resets the universe into color. So now everything goes from being black and white to in Technicolor.
They start talking about their future and what they want and what they hope to get out of this, I guess, classic modern day family situation they got going on.
Yeah. And then Wanda is visibly like 3, 4, 6 months pregnant. Like instantly. Like she literally was like,
well,
like it was really weird. And that is the end of the 2nd episode.
3rd episode, things start getting juicy.
I was gonna say 3rd episode is when everything starts to like take off. So 3rd episode is when we are in color.
So we're in the 60s
timeline
now.
Yeah, the timeline has moved up to either the 60s or the 70s.
50s? No.
First episode was the 50s. Second, I guess,
60s.
is the 60s. Third is the 70s.
So we're in the 70s.
Which is kind of, now that I'm really thinking about it, I'm like, by the time we get to like the 6th episode, are we going to be in the 2000s and present time?
Yeah.
Interesting.
10 episodes. That'll lead right up to the 2020s.
That would. Ooh, that's so weird. Just to say 2020s. Episode 3. Wanda is getting checked out by a doctor because she's pregnant. And she's like huge at this point, to the point where her water breaks. And again, it's all of these things that are happening, kind of like play back into Wanda's magical abilities, essentially. So like she gets a contraction, all of a whole bunch of stuff in the house levitates and dances around.
Her water breaks.
Her water breaks. All the sprinklers go off. So essentially it's time to deliver these babies. Wanda is trying to keep it a secret from all of their neighbors because she's literally been pregnant for a day and a half.
Yeah, nobody, you're pregnant, you're not pregnant, then you're pregnant, and now you got kids. All within 24 hours.
All within 24 hours. So Wanda's trying to keep it hidden from the neighbors. However, their neighbor Geraldine comes over to visit.
I got a question. Why don't we lock doors? So people just like, hey guys.
Because it's the 70s and the 80s and they used to do that.
It's a white neighborhood.
That too. Like Westview.
Like Eastview, you know. No, okay. I'm just saying.
You are so silly.
Go ahead.
So Wanda's neighbor comes over, and Geraldine is like telling Wanda about her day, just chilling and relaxing, and Wanda's like in active labor, but trying to hide that she's in active labor.
So active that there is a literal stork walking around the house.
Yes, literally.
Because,
like,
you know, magic, her birth, kind of, you know.
You don't drop the
gotta
babies
have
off.
visuals.
So it gets to the point where Wanda can't help it, and Geraldine helps her deliver her 2 babies.
Mm-hmm.
What they thought was one baby ended up being twins.
Mm-hmm. All right, got one vision. You got a baby. Oh, she's still big.
So they have twins. And then Geraldine's like, you know, talking to her, rocking the baby. She's like, oh,
wow.
yeah,
Twins.
that's amazing.
Just like your brother. Just like you.
Or, yeah, she said something, Wanda said something about twins running in the family. And then she was like, Wanda's like, I used to be a twin. And then Geraldine's like, oh, your brother Pietro, who is Wanda's twin from Age of Ultron, who died in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody in the town has previously exemplified any knowledge of knowing anything in the outside world.
Right. Nobody has ever alluded to her powers, knowing the Avengers, any missions, any problems, none of that.
Everybody just seems like a general
They're
character.
just playing along.
Yeah.
And here comes Monica, the newbie.
Geraldine,
the newbie. Talking about Ultron
Yes.
and Pietro, which nobody knows about.
So for the first time in a very long time, we see kind of like the facade fall off of Wanda. And she's like, how do you know that name? Like, what's up with this? How do you know about him?
But then immediately, Geraldine forgets what she knows.
Right. And she's like, what? No.
I didn't just say that.
As if it was cut from the script again. But Wanda's like, nah, I heard you. I heard what you had to say. So I'm gonna save all my theories for later. So Wanda essentially throws Geraldine out of the force field, out of the town, and back into the real world.
Houses, across a yard, through a barrier, into a field.
Right after Wanda kicked Geraldine, aka Monica Rambeau, out of Westview, Vision came in, but Vision wasn't red, gold, whatever his colors is. He was dead.
He had that thing plucked out of his forehead. He was all grayscale and dead, but he was still talking. Like, it was creepy.
It was
White
real
eyes, like, milky eyes, all of that good
Zombie.
stuff.
Sorry. I have a very
Tangent.
I have a very, 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 very big fear of like stuff that's not supposed to move moving on its own. I don't like puppets. I don't like dolls.
I really think she would like the Chucky series. Like, I honestly think she would like it.
That's 110% where my fear started. I don't like dolls. I don't like puppets. That shit.
Caroline, y'all? Like, Caroline is...
So the fact that Marvel keeps pulling out dead animatronics, it fucks with me. Like watching Spider-Man, Far From Home.
Yeah.
That scene with
Zombie Iron. Yeah.
I'm so glad I saw that for the first time in my own home. Like,
man, she went to the bathroom during the trippiest part of the movie in the theater. I'm like, girl, you missed greatness.
I'm glad I did not see a decrepit zombie Iron Man suit.
Dolby surrounds. Oh, it was great, guys. Sorry, tangent. A tangent.
So that's a fear. So seeing Vision like that was like, real creepy for me. Sorry.
Just being normal. Like, just come, hey, Wanda, you have babies now. Okay.
Like, just chilling. So that goes to show that Vision is actually dead.
Vision is dead.
And Wanda's just puppeteering his old body. Yeah. And at the end of episode 3, we see all of what we now know as sword agents swarming on Geraldine as she has fallen out of the town. And that's the end of the episode.
We see some familiar faces. One chick from Thor, another dude from Ant-Man. So,
that's episode 4.
I mean, they ended with their faces being in view when they all gather around her to see why she fell.
I'll take your word for it. Okay.
Either way, episode 4.
Either way, episode 4. So episode 4 is the first episode that we get. Oh, maybe you're right, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's the first episode we get outside of Westview.
Yes. So, the episode opens up with Geraldine inside of Westview. The story opens up with everybody essentially coming back to life after the snap of Avengers Endgame being reversed.
Hence, this is 3 weeks after Thanos.
This is 3 weeks after Thanos. After they defeat Thanos. So everybody's coming back. Hospital is a mess. And we're following the character that was inside of WandaVision's sitcom as Geraldine. We learn that she's actually Monica Rambeau. She works for SWORD, which is another agency inside of Marvel Comics.
I'm going to do a spoiler inside a spoiler. If you don't know who she is, watch Captain Marvel.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So Captain Marvel's friend from the movie's daughter.
Yes. Is
Monica Rambeau, all grown up now. So we find out that Monica was snapped away. She came back. And the rest of the world essentially went on without her. Her mom had passed away.
Because I'm going on a tangent.
Her mom had passed away. And her mom, I believe, was the previous director of SWORD. Mm-hmm. But since she wanted Monica to take over for her, but since Monica was snapped away, they allowed somebody else to take over as director.
So random like that. Mm-hmm. So my tangent. If you're coming back from the snap, and you were once dusted, as we saw with Monica and a lot of people in this hospital, they came back exactly where they left. So, if you're in a plane and you get snapped away, are you coming back on the plane, which is 1, crashed because pilot's gone, or 2, are you coming back in the air where you were, and then you just fall to your death? Meaning we have a second mass funeral after the end of Endgame, which is just like, they ended all nice and happy, and we won, God, the world is saved. Pew, pew, pew. Nah, we got a bunch of people falling out the sky.
Literal just...
people popping up in the middle of traffic because they were in cars. It's just...
Ooh, yeah.
People in the middle of the ocean because they might have been on the boat. Well, the boat thing... They might still be on the boat because who's going to go get the boat? I wouldn't.
Well, it depends on who was driving the boat. If
personal boat, you know.
Yeah. But even if you were on a cruise ship, if the captain of the cruise ship didn't get puffed away,
hopefully he came back. But either way, you popping back up in the middle of the ocean. There's just a lot of things that they should have fleshed out more.
But they are taking time. And one thing that I truly love about WandaVision is that they're taking time to flesh out, I guess, the events and what has transpired after Endgame, essentially. Like, the consequences of all these heroes going out and saving the world.
Because, I mean, just the heroes came back and they, came through the portal and whatnot. So you think they just put people where they were supposed to be. But nope.
Nah.
They just coming back exactly.
So that's another thing.
Because Tony did say, put them back exactly how we found them or how they died. So
yeah, that is true.
Hulk did the thing.
Yeah. Wait. All the heroes came back before everybody else.
No, everybody came back.
No. They came through the sling ring portals to the battlefield.
Right.
And then once Tony had
he killed Thanos.
Going.
He didn't bring people back. He killed Thanos.
I thought he brought everybody back and then
Hulk
killed.
Did that. Remember when Hulk did the snap? Ant-Man went out to the window and all the birds were chirping and shit and everybody was back. Then immediately Thanos came out of the time machine and blasted the damn mansion up. And then the fight ensues with everybody. Because everybody came back exactly where they were, now I'm understanding why it took for so long for everybody to show up.
Oh, that is true, actually. Okay, that makes a lot more... Okay, you're right. That makes sense.
Tangents, they work.
That makes sense.
Now back to the story.
Yes.
Episode 4.
Episode 4 is taking us... Essentially, we find out that SWORD has been monitoring this town of Westview, which is the town that Wanda has created. Everybody who's a neighbor in Westview is actually a missing person from the real world.
Mm-hmm. It's funny because they have a scene with the cop from Ant-Man. I need to learn his name. I'm probably never going to do that. But the cop from Ant-Man, Monica walks up, well, before she enters. And they're talking to Westview cops. And they're like, this is Westview. Can we go into Westview? And they're like, no, nobody can pass this. Westview doesn't exist. They're literally standing next to a sign that says Westview. And they're like, but the sign says Westview. And they're like, no, it says Eastview. And I'm just like,
Wanda was like, so what town is this? And he's like, Eastview.
like, mother.
No.
I couldn't beat it. I'd punch somebody.
So Wanda is working with Sword, essentially to figure out what's going on. I said Monica.
I said Wanda.
Monica is working with Sword to figure out everything that's going on. And in episode 4, we see that they sent a drone in.
That was the helicopter.
That was the helicopter that Wanda found in episode 2. They also sent in
an agent through the sewer because they were hoping. So there's this big dome on top of the city, and they were hoping that the dome doesn't proceed underground, but it does. So he goes underground, and he turns out to be the one in the bee outfit.
Yes. So I was incorrect. Apparently, it's Sword and not AIM.
No, but the hexagonal shape is AIM's signature. So
it might still be AIM.
My theory is AIM is using Wanda. Episode 5, we'll get to why they're using Wanda. But it's Sword fighting AIM and trying to prevent them from doing evil crap.
Interesting. Okay. I forgot what I was about to say.
Episode 4, they pick up Monica and doing, after we find out this is 8 weeks or 8 days, 3 weeks, whatever amount of time it is after the snap. Monica is getting scanned, making sure her vital's okay. She did walk into this dome and didn't come back. So, so they're making sure she's okay, but they can't really read her scans because it's
her
just
X-rays.
It's producing light. And if y'all know who Monica is,
I was really excited. I was like, yes.
So Monica might have powers. Maybe.
Might.
Hint. Read a comic.
Hint. Yes.
There's that. They're trying to put together what's going on inside. They sent in the drone, which was supposed to be a camera on the inside. So they're getting like a live broadcast feed of what's going on in there. So they're seeing it the way we're seeing it as a sitcom.
Yes.
So
that's where the astrophysicist, so essentially Sword sends out what's the word? Not a docket. APB, but not an APB because they're not police officers, but essentially they sent out a notice like, hey, we need some help going on with people, and they bring in like a chemist, a neuroscientist, like people who are extremely smart in their fields, but their fields don't necessarily overlap with other people.
Nobody is an expert in what's going on.
Nobody is an expert.
So they're just trying to get all the experts to figure this out. Monica sends off a text to an astrophysicist.
Apparently, Monica knows an astrophysicist.
I think it's Reed.
Yes. From the Fantastic Four.
Oh, Mr. Fantastic for you noobs.
But one of the scientists that does come on board is... I forgot her name in the movie show.
She was in Thor.
She was in Thor. She was helping out Jane Foster.
That's the other one, not Jane.
Not Jane.
The other chick that was in Thor.
So she's an astrophysicist.
There was only like 3 of them.
So she's an astrophysicist. And while she's working with Sword, she sees that there's a faint like broadcast signal. So she goes out, gets a TV, and that's where they see the WandaVision show.
Yes. A lot of stuff happened in episode 4. One of the things is we do see that the person that was talking to Wanda on the radio was Sword.
Yes.
They learned that there was a broadcast signal. They hijacked the signal, tried to push it back in through a radio, and they were the ones that were trying to get Wanda's attention. Same for the drone that showed up. The first time they sent the drone.
The first drone. It
was too updated. What they figured out is Wanda is manipulating reality.
Yes. So things that... Thank you. That's what I was trying to get to. So at first they were like, Wanda doesn't have monality.
This level of power, basically.
This level of power. They don't have... She's not this strong. But essentially...
She was.
Right. And they were just like, oh, okay, she's changing, everything inside of Westview. The trick to this, or the tricky part about this, is that items that were created in Westview don't disappear outside of Westview, which goes to show that Wanda is manipulating all of reality in order to have clothes that were worn inside of this town that she created essentially still be in the real world outside of it.
First they realize she's just changing reality. So what Monica was wearing, one of the tests they ran where she came back out, they found out that her clothes are now bulletproof.
Yes.
But those were the clothes she was originally wearing when she came in, which was her tactical gear. So all Wanda did was change her tactical gear to fit the 70s, 80s, 60s aesthetic.
Yep. And even... Okay, that's episode 5. Sorry. So...
Oh. Sorry.
No. What you said is episode 4. What I was thinking of was episode 5.
Yeah. Okay.
So with that being said, on to episode 5.
So episode 5 is kind of going back and forth now.
Yeah. It's like partially in Westview, in the reality sitcom, in the sitcom reality, partially outside of Westview, in real reality. Real reality.
Say that 10 times fast.
So Sword's like talking about, what do we do? How do we figure out what's going on in here? All this other stuff. But the director of Sword is seeing it as if Wanda's a threat.
Yes. So one of the things I do like in episode 5, they kind of had a brainstorming session on her powers because she was never that strong before. But the dude from Ant-Man had to remind them that, okay, but first, when we first met her, all she was messing with people's mind. So that could be one of the reasons why people in Westview think that this is all normal.
Yep.
Then she went into the point where she can move objects and throw crap around with her powers. Cool. She's getting stronger. Then we get to the point where she's going toe-to-toe with Thanos.
Yeah.
I'm like, her powers are just evolving. Same dude in the show is just like, her powers are evolving. What do y'all mean? She isn't a threat. She used to be Avenger. She's been on countless missions with us. We should go in trying to help her, not as if she's a threat. So after that scene, they jump back into Westview, where Wanda now has babies, and they want those babies to shut the hell up. So what do babies? They don't just shut up. So
so while Wanda and Vision were trying to keep the babies, quiet them down, get them to go to sleep, their neighbor Agnes just walks right in.
They start talking about how they need help, and Agnes like, I'm here to help, guys.
Yes.
And they're like, Vision. It's like, how the hell did you hear that?
Vision, this is where Vision is like real live starting. Like we've seen snippets throughout where Vision.
At the end of episode 3, sorry to cut you off.
You're right.
Vision starts to ask questions. It was the scene with the helicopter and the dude with the beekeeper suit. When they went back inside, Vision started, what's that? What's going on, Wanda?
Something's not right here.
Something's not right.
To get some help.
Once again, play it back. Oh, honey, this has been a great night. Let's turn in with our new babies.
Just resets Vision after he starts asking questions.
Episode 4, we're catching up. We're starting to remember things. Episode 4.
Just try to stick with us, guys.
While Agents of Sword are watching WandaVision on their little box TV, when they talk to Wanda on the radio box, they notice that it cut and then aired something that didn't happen.
Yep.
So they're starting to, they realize that what they didn't make the show. Same with the helicopter. They sent the helicopter in, and then the broadcast cut and came back on, and now they're inside. They start fighting. Same thing. So now people on the outside, the agents, are starting to realize, Wanda is manipulating what makes the air.
Yep.
So
essentially, yes. So while they're inside Westview, episode 5, Agnes, a lot of stuff actually happened in episode 5. Now that I'm really thinking about it, I'm trying to get like
a lot of stuff happened in episode 5
and dirty version.
But you're gonna get the whole episode.
So, so it starts out with them having problems with the twins, trying to keep them quiet. Vision mentions they need help. Agnes comes in out of nowhere, is seemingly helping them.
Every time they need something.
Every time they need something, Agnes is showing up.
She showed up.
So They
need a Christmas wreath. They have a lobster door knocker now.
So Agnes comes in and she's like, all right, I'll keep the babies quiet, all this other stuff. She never actually quieted the kids.
She went to take a drink.
She went to go get a drink.
Stiff one.
So while Agnes is like, all right, let me try and jump in and keep the babies quiet. She's all extra, whatever. Vision's like, again, something's not right
here. She always here when we need something.
Does she not knock? Was the door unlocked? Like, asking questions. And then Agnes comes in and she's like, oh, are you confused? You want me to take it from the top? Like,
right. So Vision's asking these questions out loud while Agnes is standing there. And Agnes looks at Wanda is like, so he's not supposed to say that. Do you want me to take it again from the top?
I was going to say, we need to rerun our lines. Like,
cut it. What are we doing?
So seemingly Agnes is the only one who knows that this reality is it's appearing that she's the only one.
Two people. Well, three people now. At the end of, or part of episode 2, Agnes and there's a black neighbor. I guess the person who was supposed to be Geraldine's husband. He's constantly cutting hedges like, oh, what was that show? The dude who stands on the fence.
Home Improvement.
Home Improvement.
Yeah.
So he's on the fence all of Home Improvement, but he's not, he's cutting hedges or whatever. And Vision comes up asking, so what is there to do or in the city or outside the city? And the black dude starts looking at Agnes. It's like, should we
say something?
Should we tell him what's going on?
And then Agnes is like, nah. And then he's like, so he starts to cut through the wall, like not paying attention to what he's doing. He's cutting through the wall. He's that freaked out. And
he was like, he's not supposed to be asking these questions. What's going on?
And then Agnes is just like, no, don't tell him anything. And then the neighbor starts talking to Vision. He's like, well, it's because it's because.
Never finishes the statement.
Never finishes the statement. So
back to episode 5. So yeah, Agnes is there. They're trying to run the lines back or whatever, but she keeps going. I guess Wanda. I forgot how Wanda played it off, but Vision just goes with it now. The kids turn 5. That's what happened.
That's what happened. So as she starts asking these questions, the kids who were in the kitchen aged up to level 5. Level 5. Aged up to 5 and came out, and that's kind of what distracted them from asking these questions, trying to figure out what was going on.
So the next scene, kids are 5. They're in the kitchen over the sink. Wanda doesn't know why. They looking innocent, yet being 5 and innocent means you're guilty. So all of a sudden, barking starts from behind them. Kids found a dog. Don't know where that came from. Not asking questions. And Wanda's
Agnes
like,
is still there.
No.
Oh no, Agnes left at this point.
Wanda's like, how are we going to take care of this dog? We just got you guys. We barely know what to do here. This, that, and the other. Enters Agnes with a damn doggy home crate thing and toys for the dog.
Here you go.
Hey, I heard you got a dog. Vision comes. Vision is already downstairs because he's like, where the hell we get this dog from? And Vision's like, once again, as soon as we need something, here she is.
Agnes. So we kind of leave the family at the house.
Vision is trying to find a reason why the kids shouldn't keep the dog. Wanda says they're not old enough yet.
Oh, yes.
And she looks at Vision, how old should they be?
And Vision's like,
10.
So the kids are like,
Wanda's like, no. Don't you... And they're 10. If you haven't figured out what's going on, they're 10 now.
They're 10 now. So at this point, they're still playing with the dog. Vision goes off to work?
Yes, he goes off to work because he's like, I can't be here right now. I got to figure what's going on. So he's going to work. We have computers now. He was just at work yesterday and they didn't have computers. So we have computers now. And everybody's talking about emails or whatever.
Yeah.
Vision says something to somebody. I forgot what he asked.
It was the emails. So everybody was talking about emails.
Yes, you're right.
Sword found a way to get through to Vision via the work email, and he was like seeing, Sword, this, yada, yada,
so
yada.
So he started reading the docket from Sword, and everybody around him, in unison, starts reading it as well.
So Vision touches the sides of the computer to try to get it to like go away to get people to stop.
Yeah.
It fixes itself, but then he's still freaked out. He's like, bro, like what the heck is going on?
He asks his coworker, which is this Indian dude, what's going on. And the Indian dude's like, I don't know what you're talking about. We've just been here talking crap the whole time. So Vision does the whole, Vision thing. And
essentially removes the, I guess, mental block that Wanda had put up for all the people in town to
and he immediately starts. So the docket starts to blame or starts to hint that Wanda is doing something. He puts the dude's blinders down, and the dude immediately starts freaking out. He's like, I gotta call my wife. I don't know what's going on here. I've been here for way too long. And
where's my cell phone?
Vision got him calmed down enough for him to say, "Don't you get it? This is all Wanda." And then he starts hyperventilating and breaking down again, so Vision puts his blinders back up.
Yep.
And he turns back to normal?
As normal as a possessed person could be in a fake town that somebody created.
Right.
Right. So at this point, Vision's like, bruh, it's Wanda. So he like goes home. He's like, young, we got like chill out. What are you doing? Before that. While Vision's at work, it jumps to Wanda and the boys back home.
Okay.
So Wanda and the boys were out doing something.
Yes. So this is where the third guy comes in. We met him before, but this is the third one that knows what's going on. They go outside because they lost the dog.
Yes, they lost the dog.
The dog ran away.
They were trying to holler.
So while they're going out, a mailman passes them. And the kids are like, we lost our dog.
Oh, yeah.
And the mailman is like, well,
your mom won't let that happen.
Your mother won't let anything bad happen to the dog. You know how it is. I realized that the mailman is the beekeeper.
Really?
Because they never did anything about the beekeeper. The beekeeper just came out, looked at them, and walked away.
And then they cut.
Like nothing happened.
Shoot, I didn't even realize that.
And so because when they walked away, he was still looking at him and walking away. He was like, still messing with his mail. I think the mailman's the beekeeper. Huh. Just like what happened to Monica when she went in, she just immediately became part of the town.
Shut up. That is neat. I did not catch on to that.
Either way, the dog's dead.
Yes. So, and coincidentally, the dog is in Agnes's yard. So, again, Agnes.
Once again, Wanda needs a solution to this dog thing, and enters Agnes.
So the dog is apparently dead. And then the kids are like,
I feel like whatever he ate was supposed to hint at what's really going on, at least with Agnes, but I forgot what he ate. I gotta go back.
I thought it was just like berries or something from the tree.
She said some type of berry though. I felt like it was like a hint at like something. I don't know. You know how they throw Easter eggs in this joint.
You're right.
So who knows?
So Agnes is. So they find the dog. The dog is dead in Agnes's yard. Coincidentally. And then the boys are like, but Mom, you can bring him back, right?
Man just said you can bring him back.
Yeah. So they're just like pressuring Wanda and like, you can bring him back. You can raise the dead, yada, yada, yada.
But one of the biggest, I guess, trauma for Wanda is the death of her brother. So what she's trying to do here is get her kids to deal with this death.
Yes. So she like breaks it down to them, which I thought was really neat instead of her just being like, all right, hoo-hoo.
But this is all,
the dog is fixed.
This is all stimulated from Monica mentioning her brother died.
Yes.
Just remember that.
But I think it's neat that Wanda like essentially was like, okay, you have to learn this lesson. You can't, like, instead of her just being like, all right, poof, dog's alive again, she was more so like, no, like, death is permanent. Things happen to people, like, it's a part of life. And then the kids were essentially about to age themselves up, but she was like, no,
so they can deal with it.
Right. But she was like, no, you have to feel these feelings, you can't rush through it, you can't like
age out of it,
just experience it. Life happens.
Then we go back outside, and they're planning. They figured out that because Monica's clothes were bulletproof.
Oh, outside of Westview.
Yes. We're outside of Westview, and they figured since Monica's clothes are bulletproof, the thing they can do is send something in from that time period. So military. They never throw anything away, and they wonder why they get robbed all the time. Anyway, they go back and get this, I guess, old 1970 drone to fly in there, so they can talk to her. They get there. Wanda and her kids are in their front yard. They get there. They start talking to her, but Wanda wants to cut it out, basically,
And then once they had Wanda in their view, the director of S.W.O.R.D. was like, all right, weapons hot, get ready to fire.
Rambo didn't know they armed it, and she wasn't planning on ever. She just wanted to talk to, like, she used to work for Avengers, but the director, he's like, no, we got to treat her like an enemy. So they armed it, and they aimed a rocket at her, and it didn't go. It didn't work.
So
and I'm like, dude, she has kids. Yo, if she's here taking over this dang on city, she ain't hurting nobody. You want to attack her kids? You already see what she just did to Monica. Like, and you think attacking her kids, even if they're real or fake, we don't know yet. And you gonna do that?
So, yes. So, Wanda then takes the rocket and just walks it right outside the town. And she's like, look, y'all.
Her entire look changes. She looks like OG Scarlet Witch, red jacket, leather, hair.
Everything. And it was just like, and she was
accent,
because a lot of people had something to say about that. Like,
everything's back.
Everything in the first couple episodes, there was no Russian accent, all this other stuff. But once she's outside of Westview, the accent comes back. Everything's back to original. I'm not gonna say normal, original. And she essentially like tosses their drone out there and be like, y'all, I'm chilling. Leave me alone.
Don't mess with me. I won't mess with you.
That's it.
Simple.
That's it.
And then she takes control of the entire military's mind, train the weapons back on the director, walks back in.
It's like, I could kill you right here.
She decided that she ain't hiding no more either. So the invisible dome that was over there is now visible and red.
Red.
She is mad.
Very red.
Don't mess with her while she's angry. A la Hulk.
So once we're back in Westview, Vision comes home from work, and then he confronts Wanda, and he's like, all right, you're doing all this. This is crazy. You need to stop. And she's like, I'm not doing anything.
To be a hero. For the simple fact that he saw somebody suffering because of his wife. Now, because let's be real, they never got married outside the dome. So is it really legitimate? 90 days. He about to be dead again. So yeah, I mean, he's pissed. Yeah. So
and they're going
standard superhero marriage argument, power flying, people floating.
The funniest part of this episode was the fact that Wanda tried to roll the credits on Vision.
Young.
And she was like, we're not having this conversation. And
walked away,
start to roll.
And Vision's like, no! Get that out of here.
Literally swiped away the credits and was like, nah, we having this conversation
you can't
today.
Just roll credits on me, Wanda. We gonna speak about this. Yep. You keep manipulating. This is when Vision finally confronts her. Like, you keep changing what's going on here to fit your MO. And it's like, but you can't keep trolling me.
And then she was like,
Wanda said the most badass line in like 3 words.
But can I?
Can I?
And walked away. So
my heart. I was like, because she already is.
That's the thing. That's the thing. So she.
But that also goes to show you, even without his Mind Stone, how strong Vision possibly is.
Right. So Vision is, they're going at it, and she's like, I'm not doing this. I'm not controlling every single person. And then he's like, but Wanda, where are the kids? Like, where are the babies? Where's the loud noises? All this other stuff.
Before we get to what happens next, I do want to step back a little bit. Earlier in the episode, they confirm that 8 days prior to whatever's going on, Wanda infiltrated S.W.O.R.D.
Yes.
Because guess who took her man's body off the battlefield?
It had him decapitated.
From Wakanda, first of all, because Vision died in Wakanda. So how the hell you get there without anybody knowing? First of all. Second of all, they chopped his body up to bits.
And was like essentially running tests on him.
Vision never wanted to be a science project.
Nah.
Tony nor Banner wanted the military to get their hands on Vision because...
weapons.
Military.
It's almost as if they only have one purpose.
So Wanda, by herself, storms S.W.O.R.D., takes up all of his pieces, and sees her way off to Westview.
Yes.
Hence, what's going on now. So,
Vision.
Double confirm, Vision is dead.
Yes. And then so towards the end, I'm going to finish with the episode before we get into our theories and speculations. So, at the end of episode 5, while Wanda and Vision are having this talk argument, conversation, the doorbell rings. And even Vision's like, bitch, did you just make that doorbell ring?
And Wanda's like, no, of course not. What? I'm like, chick, you control everything. Yes, you made that doorbell.
So
me, I'm sitting here thinking, oh, here comes Agnes again.
Right.
Trying to run things or distract Vision.
But
Sure, I'll let you say it.
But at the very end of the episode, Wanda goes to open the door. And, like, I love the way they shot it because we can only see the back of the person's head. We see that they have white hair.
We didn't even see the hair first. All we saw was the leather jacket.
Yeah.
Cut back to Wanda, cut back to him again. Now we see the silver hair.
We see the silver hair on one side. Like, so we're looking at the screen, seeing the back of dude's head, but the front of Wanda's face. And she's just, like, shocked, confused.
Even Wanda, Vision is in the background saying, Wanda, what the heck did you just do?
Yep. And comes to find out, Wanda brought her brother Pietro back to life. Or, I don't know if it was back to life.
Any Pietro. X-Men The Last Stand. Fox branded studio Quicksilver shows up in the MCU. Pietro, the Russian, has died in that's DC. Sokovia is one of those Russian fake places. I almost said but yeah, he died then. Never came back.
Nope.
So, Wanda bringing back the dead, you would think, OG Pietro. But no, it's a better Pietro, in my opinion.
Wow. So, so the Pietro from
X-Men confirmed.
You want to keep interrupting me?
Yeah.
So the Pietro from the X-Men movies, X-Men, First Class, First Class.
It's the only one I care about, to be honest.
Something else, Phoenix, Apocalypse. First Class, Apocalypse, Venus,
Dark Phoenix.
From those Fox X-Men movies into the Marvel MCU.
Disney owns Fox now, so they can do that.
So, nerd part of this. So that's the end of our review of everything that has happened.
First 5 episodes were a trip. I can't imagine what the next 6 has in store.
Man, look, to find out that we're only halfway through this and all of this has happened is bonkers. I'm loving everything about this because I've watched all the movies. I've read comics. Like, we've seen people make videos and analyze everything.
Theories.
Everything.
Yeah.
So the thing about Pietro, I feel like that's the most confusing part. The Marvel Cinematic Universe is only the 10 or so.
The first 10 movies. Or 10 years of movies.
Yes.
From Iron Man 1, or, excuse me, Hulk, if we're counting
Hulk
that
was the
now.
first one.
Hulk all the way to Endgame. Those movies.
However, because of copyrights and studio business, the X-Men movies were essentially not part of the Marvel MCU. Mm-hmm. They kept everything separate. These movies got nothing to do with what's going on over here. This is a complete story.
Spider-Man isn't part of the MCU. He's owned by Sony. So.
Well, Spider-Man...
He's on loan from Sony.
He's on loan. But I think Disney is trying to buy Sony so that they don't have to pay them.
They ain't gonna buy Sony.
So yes, even some of the Spider-Man movies. Well, the first Spider-Man movie, I don't think is part of the MCU. So the
Spider-Man movies are part of, like, Tom Holland's Spider-Man?
Tom Holland's Spider-Man.
Are part of the MCU.
The most recent Spider-Man movies. But the
Sony
previous...
could pull their deal anytime, so...
Yeah. So, like...
They kind of want him for Venom.
Yes. Go ahead. Sorry. So, the fact that there was a X-Men character from the X-Men movies in a Marvel MCU property means that now, or I'm speculating, that now WandaVision is going to be the bridge between making all of the X-Men movies canon in the MCU universe.
Yes, my theory kind of goes alongside of that. Me knowing that the second Doctor Strange movie is literally called the Multiverse of Madness, and Wanda is supposed to be the antagonist in that movie, I'm thinking she just plucked Quicksilver that she wanted from a multiverse and plopped her in hers.
I feel like she was subconsciously reaching out for the grave, but like...
Yeah. she can't. So.
She can't. Like,
yeah.
So
she's not an android, so
yes. So that was like what? So this means to show. This goes to show, possibly means that the MCU that did not have mutants, didn't have Wolverine, didn't have the X-Men, didn't have none of them.
And now has a multiverse and has mutants.
Has a multiverse, and one of those multiverses is where the mutants reside.
I would like for them to keep it that way.
Oh yeah.
To be honest.
Wait, keep it separate?
Yeah, I think like you can cross over with like your multiverses, like if you do big movies like Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, but like unless they're teaming up or needs to work together.
Let the Avengers do Avengers stuff. Let the X-Men do X-Men stuff. Yeah.
Because I can see we can get a movie like Avengers versus X-Men, and it's literally two multiverses fighting each other.
I can see that. So that's one thing. Another thing that I've like been keeping abreast about throughout this whole thing is Agnes.
Abreast.
It's Agnes.
So slow. Okay, it's fine.
Another thing that I've been trying to like keep abreast and I'm real speculative about is Agnes. So in the comics, the storyline that the House of M? House of M storyline.
So which one? When they solidified the kids and the kids became real?
The No More Mutants.
Yes. That's prior to House of M, but yeah.
Okay. So House of M is the comic storyline that WandaVision is loosely based off of. And essentially in the...
Ooh. And... So... No, sorry. So before... What preluded House of M was Avengers Disassembled. And, you know, Tony being dead and Thanos being done. It's like...
Disassembled.
The Avengers has been disassembled. So...
Yes. So the House of M storyline essentially goes through Wanda. After the Avengers disassemble, she kind of goes crazy a little bit. And essentially, like she's doing now, created her own world, created her own twins.
Her and Vision 2.
Her and Vision 2 created this whole life, created this whole reality that wasn't necessarily real.
Enter the X-Men because her daddy's Magneto.
Yes. So, enter the X-Men. And Professor Xavier essentially is like, bro, I'm sorry. So, yes, essentially Professor Xavier is like, this ain't right. You gotta chill this out.
Basically, you gotta wake up. Let all this stuff go. And she's like, no. But they're like, yes, you're gonna. So,
go ahead.
Professor X suppresses that memory. He didn't do a great job because he ain't as strong as Wanda. So when she did find out again
that he suppressed her memory of her happy life with her Vision and her kids,
took her kids away, she wasn't happy. Legitimately mental breakdown, all of it, realizing that somebody took her kids. Second, her kids were never real.
Never real in the first place.
Third, they lied to me and suppressed my memories instead of helping me through it.
So she says...
She's talking to Pietro and it's like, I hate all of this. This isn't great. And Pietro's like, you got the power to do whatever the fuck you want.
And she's like, cool, no more mutants. And wipes all of the mutants.
Those 3 words. Cuts. What was it? 80% of all mutants and heroes out of the equation? She literally rewrites reality.
And just poof.
Only one that knows what's going on in this new reality.
So the second part to this story is that Wanda, going through all of this, wanting her kids back, makes a deal with the Marvel Universe devil Mephisto.
There you go.
And then Mephisto's like, all right, I'm gonna lend you some powers, make these kids, poof them back into reality, and they're like actual tangible human beings. My theory is that Agnes is Mephisto. I feel like this is my overall theory for the show. I feel like AIM is monitoring Wanda to see how she will use Vision and make him back to life to continue to run tests and see how they can use that as a weapon.
So what's their actual sentient world? No, it's not world because
it's weapons. Something.
Weapons because in the Marvel comic universe, SWORD is Sentient Weapons Observation Department or whatever. There's an R in there that I forgot.
Research
observation.
Something.
But they monitor space for all intergalactic threats. But since the MCU has, Nick Fury up there with the Skrulls and Captain Marvel
watching over the rest of the
being
galaxy.
Space Jesus.
Space Jesus.
Now they don't need a world observation. They need weapon observation. So that's why they took Vision. Because he's technically, since he's Stark branded, and all Stark Industry does is make weapons, he's technically a weapon.
Technically. So, yeah. So I think AIM is behind the scenes using Wanda to run tests on Vision, but I think SWORD is trying to stop AIM from
My
doing
theory,
that.
if you'll have me, I think there is about to be a metahuman arms race. Ultron has proved using the Infinity Stones, or a big source of power, you can give people powers. Because it was the Mind Stone, or reality. It was one of the stones that gave Wanda and her brother his powers in this universe.
The reality.
Oh,
dang. I'm sorry. It's so, just talking about this stuff and putting it all together.
That's why Wanda was the only one that can destroy Vision Stone.
Yeah.
Because she got her powers
from a stone.
From a stone. So, that's that. I think there's about to be a superhuman arms race. So, I feel like AIM wanted Vision first, but SWORD picked him up off of Wakanda first. Because, SWORD is the new shield.
Essentially, yeah.
So, since SWORD got there first, I feel like AIM leaked that information to Wanda. Because Wanda didn't know what happened. She went to Tony's funeral. She was chilling with Hawkeye at the end. Was like, we're going to make it through it.
Yeah.
So she ain't know. I feel like AIM leaked that information to her. So she got pissed. Because she knew Vision never wanted to be used as a weapon. And went to get him.
Interesting.
But instead of AIM being able to stop her, because she got to Westview first and put up this barrier.
That's interesting.
But I feel like they either wanted to use Wanda or parts from Vision to try to make mutants.
Yeah.
I feel like this is all about to create mutants.
I agree with that. And I think that Agnes is Mephisto because, like we said, she just coincidentally keeps popping up whenever they need something.
Especially around the twins. She's
the only one, or one of the very few people who have alluded to knowing more about this entire situation than being in a sitcom.
Adding to that, we know the beekeeper, or at least I think the beekeeper is the mailman. I think the black dude is Nightmare.
Who is Nightmare? Explain that.
There's another... he's like another Hell Lord. So... And he controls Nightmare. He feeds off of people's nightmares. So, and Wanda and her, I guess, suppressed anxiety and depression from losing everybody, I feel like she's going through that. And remember, one of the things we met Wanda was her giving the Avengers their worst nightmares.
Oh, yeah.
Like Tony seeing him being the last one standing, Thor, I guess, drowning in the ether or whatever they called it at that time. Like, all of that crap.
That is interesting.
So that's what I'm adding on to that. There's something else I wanted to say, but I forgot, so go ahead.
Oh. I mean, I'm eager to see how...
Yeah.
I keep wanting to say Bernice, but it's not Bernice. Agatha plays into all of this.
Agatha, yeah.
I don't know why I keep wanting to say Bernice.
I feel like we called her like 12 different A names throughout this.
Agatha Harkness.
Agatha Harkness. That is her name.
I'm wishing it too.
But she also continues to speak about this husband that we've never seen.
Yes. Oh, yes. So
I think her husband.
If not her, I think her husband is Mephisto, and I think they're the ones that's really controlling everything, but making Wanda
keep the status quo.
Yeah, but making Wanda feel like she's in control of everything.
No, I really think it's Wanda manipulating reality. I feel,
as far as the
knowing
reality,
where her powers will get to, and seeing that she is continually getting stronger, I think it's her, and I think she can't control it. I think most of that is subconscious.
I agree with the subconsciousness. I feel that while she's But that's why I say that they're like, I feel like they're more so the catalyst. So like every time they need a plot point or something to drive the plot, Agnes shows up.
You're right.
With the dog, they was about to get rid of the dog. Agnes shows up with a dog house. It's like, all right, we got all this stuff to take care of a dog. You wanted to teach the kids about pain. The dog died in your yard. Like, and I feel like it was more so because even when the kids were like, Mom, you can like, you know, you can raise the dead. You can bring people back to life. Even Agnes was surprised by that fact. And she was like, really?
So you can, huh?
So I'm thinking they're the ones that's like pushing Wanda to do certain stuff. So it's like, Wanda's creating things, but I feel like Mephisto and Agnes are manipulating her.
I got that. Okay. It's her power's the sword. She's just not in control.
Right.
Gotcha. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
But going on to my mutants theory, why I say that, knowing that the greater MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, is based on the ultimate universe of the Marvel Comics, seeing that in the Marvel Comic universe, in the Ultimate Universe, S.H.I.E.L.D. created mutants.
Really?
Yes. The first super soldier wasn't Chris Evans. It was Nick Fury.
Yes. Yeah. Captain America.
Then, I mean, for all purposes, he's ripped right out of the comic. Yeah.
Look, I swear, Marvel.
Steve Rogers, that's his name.
That's his name. I feel like Marvel, like, low-key has a plant somewhere in, like, Wisconsin or Idaho. Just growing people like, yes, we're going to add a little bit of this gene and make them look like that.
But yeah, based off of the super soldier serum, they got in touch with a dude from Canada named Logan Howlett. And based off of his DNA, they created this basically weather bomb to make it rain. And that drizzled on top of some people. And made mutants. So, S.H.I.E.L.D. created mutants. It says, S.H.I.E.L.D. is dead. We have S.W.O.R.D.
Is S.W.O.R.D. going to create the mutants? And Wanda literally just walked one up to their front door. So what if they use Pietro's DNA instead and create mutants?
Scientific World Observation and Research Department. Or weapons, not world. I gotta get used to that part.
So yeah, you got anything else?
Nah, that's it for me. That's all I got. So,
our
theories can be completely wrong too.
But they could, 110%. So with that, look forward in another 5 weeks to us reviewing the entire season.
I'll give it 6. I see them putting a break somewhere in this just so they don't, because, well, I don't know. No, maybe not. I feel like this will all, if they keep it up week to week, then this will go right into Falcon and Winter Soldier when that airs in March. It is February, dang.
It is February.
You've been in a panorama for a year.
All right. Yeah. It'll be a whole year come March 17th.
Either way, that was a fun episode. WandaVision.
We got shit to do, so we're sitting around the house watching shows.
First 5 episodes.
Yes, we will definitely be back at the end of the season to see if our theories have rang true, if there was some trueness, some not trueness.
I'm going to start a petition if they kill off Pietro again.
Why?
Because I like Quicksilver.
Okay. All right. As if a petition is going to make an entire.
It never does, but
change their mind.
It'll help me.
I was going to say it'll help you know that there are more people out there, not just you.
It'll help me.
Yeah. So this has been great. I love to get on and talk about things that we love and we enjoy, just to kind of take a break from all the heavy seriousness of everything. Next week we're going back into the heavy seriousness,
talking about molasses.
Molasses?
Dang, I was hoping you got the reference. Don't worry, keep going. It's just very heavy, sticky stuff.
Oh, okay.
You ruined the joke if you gotta explain the joke.
Well, now I'll know next time you say something like molasses.
Sign off, lady.
I'll get it. All right, this has been another episode of the Adult Deck podcast. Thank you all for joining us. Make sure to like this video, share it with a friend, subscribe to our YouTube channel, become a part of our Patreon. We're still growing that community.
We got that now.
Yes. And all of the links, descriptions, all that good stuff will be in the bio below. And that's been another episode.
It's been real, y'all.
Bye.
Hey everybody, co-host Peter stopping by to say thanks for watching and to let you know if you like this video, check out last week's video and the playlist with all of our episodes. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when our vlogs, podcasts, and gameplays drop. It's been real, y'all.